Brian and Scott on the line from Commio. Since you guys are experts when it comes to content guideline and best practices around, you guys do a lot of political messages. So I think that it would be great if we could have, one of you speak just to best practices around, political message content, any recent content guidelines you could share with us, or anything like that.
Sure. Well, thanks for having us today. The thing that I think, Dan, you mentioned, it's real critical to understand that this is the carrier's networks. They control what goes across it. So one of the things I would highly recommend is becoming very familiar with every carrier's acceptable use policy. Also CTIA and TCPA to me, and to us at Commio, those are table stakes. Those are assumptions that the carriers basically apply, that anything that's going across their network should already be meeting TCPA and CTIA compliance. As far as message content goes, that's one of the things. So even though you have political, I'm speaking primarily to political content, you've got an approved use case and you're sending that across the network. But one of the most important things is to get conversion, right? You want the person, the voter that you're sending that message to actually click through your call to action, call your number, go to your URL. And so what's really important is that your message content really is conversational, and it's also very important. I'm seeing a ton of this right now. Most of the complaints we're getting on political message content is due to the tone. So if you have a very abrasive tone in your message content, you're more likely to have a mobile subscriber respond to the carrier with a unsolicited, I didn't subscribe to this, or worst case, that they would actually file a complaint based on the content. So as we all know, political messaging content can be volatile. You send the wrong message to the wrong person, and you're going to be more likely to have to deal with that. So we've actually had to complete some RCAs regarding some of that content, and that's usually what it is. It's usually around unsolicited message content. And so that's one of the things I would say most importantly is be compliant, make sure you understand their acceptable use policies, understand what their rules are, make sure your message content is conversational and non-abrasive, right?
That's good advice, Scott. Actually, I don't think there's not enough people that talk about that. So we appreciate that. I mean, as you mentioned, your message is abrasive, or if it's overly aggressive, or your message is overly political. I know that's the concept of campaigning, but you quite likely could strike somebody at the wrong time, which could result in a complaint, which then could result in blocking or other issues, right? So just because you can say it in one format or over one medium doesn't necessarily mean it's the right message at that moment for texting. I'm sure you'll agree, Scott. So it's something to keep in mind.